parent. We're really happy to have you here to talk to these amazing universities and receive some awesome information about studying abroad. I have here with us Fernanda Castillo, who is the Director of
Hi.
International Student Engagement at Emmanuel College. And she has some great information to share with you all about costs, trends, and financial aid tips for international students. So I'm going to let Fernanda go ahead and do the presentation. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, please post them on the live chat box and we will answer those questions as we go or at the end of the presentation. Okay. Fernanda, welcome. Thank you so much for doing the
Hi.
presentation today. Please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So, I'm here just to share with you a little bit about cost trends and financial aid tips for especially for international students. As Karen mentioned, I'm the one in charge of all the international students that come to our campus at Emmanuel College. So, here are most of like all the questions that they ask or their main concerns usually are around money. It's not easy when you travel to a different country because there are a lot of costs that are involved in that. You don't have your home there, your parents, and there are things that usually they are covered by them, but when you travel, you need to consider those costs as well. So the cost to consider, these are kind of the main ones that I can see at the university, but of course there are other ones. So application fees. Some of the universities, they have application fees that you need to consider in order to apply to a university. Either if you mail an application on paper or if you do it electronically, they might have different fees, or sometimes they waive a fee to apply to the university. Then the test and entrance exams. Especially if you come from other parts of the world that you are not in the United States, you will need to do like an English proficiency test to make sure that you understand and speak enough English to be able to go through the different courses. I think that the same thing will be in different parts of the world where you go to a place where it's a different language. You will need to prove that your knowledge of that language is enough. Those tests usually they have a cost around, they can vary between $100, $200, $300. So it's really important that you consider those tests as a part of the application cost. Then there is another cost that it's tuition and fees. This is what we pay to go to college. This tuition, uh, usually some universities, sorry, they include extra fees like administrative fees, processing fees. Sometimes these fees are the orientation week or different type of things that add up to the tuition cost. And usually here in tuition is where you can get the scholarships, how much it will cost you to actually attend classes. Then you have room and board. So room and board, some schools allow you to live on campus or off campus. Other schools, they have dorms on campus. There are some schools that they don't have dorms and you need to find a place to live close to campus. So at the end, those are costs that you need to consider. If you are going to live by yourself, if you are going to have a roommate, if you are going to live with family members, everything needs to be considered there. And food, what are you going to eat? Some universities, they have meal plans that allow you to eat unlimited times on campus. For example, at Emmanuel College, we have a meal plan that with your ID, you can swipe it up to 5 times per day at our dining halls, and you can eat everything that you want every time that you enter. But again, every university is different and every plan will be different too. And then you need to consider books and supplies. Sometimes you need to buy a laptop, you need to buy specific software, especially if you're studying something related to graphic design or to arts. All the books that you need to buy in order to attend school, sometimes we don't consider those. And travel to a new host country. You need to make sure that you have your passport ready, that you have a visa. In order to apply to a visa, it has a cost, how much the visa will cost you. And also, to travel, back home. Sometimes, well, usually the universities, they are closed for some seasons. For example, Thanksgiving week, sometimes for a Christmas break, sometimes they are closed during summer. So during that time that campus is closed, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to go back home? Are you going to stay on the country that you are? Are you going to travel around? Those are the costs that you need to consider also. And travel with a new host country. It will be good for you to be able to travel so you can get a sense of the culture, of the food, everything that is around you. And you are not just going to a new country and just living on the dorm and never leaving the dorm. It's not going to be a good experience for you. And also health and medical insurance, specifically if you go to a different country, in this case, United States. The health system is pretty expensive, so it's mandatory for you to have a medical insurance if you are coming from another country and you are studying in any university. So sometimes you can bring your own insurance from where you are living, but there are some universities that they ask you to have the insurance that they have partnership with, so they make sure that you are fully covered. So those are the costs that are totally let's say attached to your experience when you decide to study in a university. And there are also another expenses, but this can vary. This will be more, what do you want to do? You want to go and eat out every night with your friends, if you want to go to a concert, if you want to go to a football game, if you want to go to a baseball game, to a festival. So all those are the personal expenses can be adjustable to your budget, but the other ones are expenses that you need to consider, and usually they are set by the universities. So it's something that you need to consider. Then, these are the trends in the US college pricing. 60% of the cost goes to tuition. Tuition varies depending on the school that you attend. Either it's a private school or a public school. Also, if it depends on the city where it is and how expensive things are in that city specifically. So 60% of the cost will be tuition. 20% will be accommodations, meaning room and board. 10% will be meal plans, and if you don't want the meal plan and you want to eat on your own, that will be probably a little bit more expensive than the 10%. 5% goes to health insurance, and 5% goes to others, like all these different fees that are charged from the university, or the travel back and forth to your house, and also, for example, all your personal expenses like clothing. For example, if you move to a place where it's snowing and you don't have snow clothes, or if you want to go do anything particular with that city, that's a cost that you need to consider too. So how do you fund those costs? So I always recommend my students to do an Excel spreadsheet and put all the costs that they might think that will be involved when they decide to go somewhere else. And then try to, next to those costs, try to put where are they getting those funds. For example, we have scholarships from the university. There are some scholarships and grants from other sources. Here they can be from, there are some companies that offer grants. There are some, they can be federal grants from the different governments. It can be from the government of the host country, or even can be the government from your country that is offering scholarships to study in another country. Private loans, personal resources, I think that is where most of the funds come from, like family, personal income, or some trust that some students have. Then work, study, and student jobs. There are most of the universities allow students to work on campus, and as an international student in the United States, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week. You cannot work more than that. So those students' jobs, they need to be literally on campus, and you will get paid for those. You can have internships, you can do undergraduate research assistantship, or departmental or organization grants. Then, how do I apply for those scholarships and grants? It's a kind of the main question that everybody asks. Where do I find that money? So you can start applying as early as freshman year in high school. So if you are like a freshman, now you can apply. So there are different websites that you can use for free, but mainly there are two different type of scholarships. One is need-based scholarships, that this is it it involves your financial situation. So usually requires a financial documentation to prove that you are in need of this scholarship, that you want to study, but you just can't afford to study. So in this case, you need to have you need to be a strong candidate. You need to stand out in your application. And so people, or like the main source of the scholarship, say like it's worth giving you the money to study. So you need to prove financial need. You need to follow specific requirements for the aid and do leadership and commitment. And here you just need to have a really strong application. You need to be strongly academic in the academic part. Sometimes they ask for well-rounded students, that you can be also strong in as an athlete, or be part of a debate team, or want to be a scientist, want to do a research. So specifically, these type of need-based scholarships, they are related to you need to be a strong candidate, and they are related to your financial situation. And then we have the merit-based scholarships. These are my favorite scholarships because it doesn't matter your financial situation. Everyone is the same. So here, usually you are awarded for what you are as a person. So if you have an excellent academic achievement, if you have a great test scores, results, if you have unique talent, if you are a leader in whatever field you want to do. And then these merit-based scholarships, usually you don't need to apply for them. In the moment that you apply to the universities, you automatically qualify for any merit-based scholarships. You don't need to prove a lot of things. You don't need to submit a lot of financial documents to support this scholarship. So that's why I love it, because it's you as a person. It doesn't matter where you are coming from, or if your family has money or not. It's just you and who you are and what your talents are. Then we have athletic scholarships. These athletic scholarships are really good if you are an athlete. Usually, only universities that have Division One teams are the ones that are able to offer these scholarships. Some of the universities that are Division Two might do that too, but you need to apply to a university that is Division One in order to get an athletic scholarship. In this case, you need to apply and plan like probably 1 or 2 years before applying to the university. Why? Because you need to build your portfolio or your profile, and you need to reach out to the coaches, so they are able to see you play and see like the potential that you have in order to consider you part of their team. So you need to create a sports CV and write a cover letter, and you need to have videos proving that you are an excellent athlete. Usually these scholarships are managed by the athletic departments of each university, and you need to be recruited for this. So it's a little bit of what are they for, and you need to be kind of the top of your country in order to qualify for these athletic scholarships. Are not impossible, are really doable, but it's really important for you to consider that not all the universities are able to provide these athletic scholarships. And there are more institutional based aid. So there are some universities that depending on where you are coming from, you can get a better price. Why? Some universities, they need to have this quote of diversity, so they need to have specific number of students from different parts of the world. So if you are lucky enough to be in that part of the world that they are recruiting, they might give you an extra discount just from coming from that place. Also, there are some universities that offer different type of tuitions, like in-state tuition, that you can apply for that if you have a certain type of passports, or if the university has this a partnership with your country. Sometimes there are other universities too that you can skip some fees, specifically the ones from English proficiency test. It can be waived. For example, us at Emmanuel College, if you come from an Ivy school or a school that at least you have you take math, science, and any type of science class, math, and you have English as a class, we can waive your English proficiency test because that proves that you know academic English. And there are other universities that they don't require SATs, so that's also something that you can save money on that. And then there are some academic department funds on campus that award special skills. For example, there are some universities that they receive grants from specific sectors, or some, for example, some companies that they offer these universities money in order to recruit students that do certain type of research in case of STEM professionals, or even they're looking, for example, some universities they are looking for a bilingual teachers. So if you want to be a teacher and you are already bilingual, you might qualify for a specific type of scholarship. But these are just I usually don't offer these ones because it's not that you can offer them before someone applies. Usually they are after you apply and you enroll and you decide what major you want to be in. The school lets you know if you qualify for this one or not. And these are the common documents needed for financial aid. So usually you need a signed bank statement and the available funds in English. This is really, really important because sometimes we receive bank statements from different parts of the world in different language and different currency. So for us, it's really hard to understand. First, to understand them, and then to translate the currency to what the US dollar is, the exchange rate. And we receive tons of them. So for us, it's impossible to keep track of all of them. So what we are asking is usually if you go to your bank, they are able to give you a letter in English with the funds in US dollars. So that's something that you will need if you want some financial aid. And also, this one is also needed for the F1 visa. So it will be good to have it just because you will need it in different parts of the process. Then you need to have the federal income tax return. That's another thing that it will help you to prove your financial like state. And then some universities you need to fill out a specific form that they have about your financial status. So you just need to check with each university that you are applying to what are their requirements, and based on that requirements is what you need to fill out. Again, every university is different, every process is different, so it will be good for you to reach out to an admissions counselor so they help you through the process. And these are some of the resources that we have here for you that might be helpful in case you want to study abroad and you want to talk or you want to do a little bit of research about scholarships, about resources, about financial aid, also about passes and global scholarships that a lot of companies or a lot of even nonprofits are offering. So I don't know if you have any question that I can help you with.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So let's see if we have any questions in the chat. I see that we also have some counselors that joined us today. Thank you so much for being here. Some counselors from Brazil.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't have any questions so far, Fernanda. I think it's because you did a fantastic job at sharing the information. Yeah, one of the counselors is saying thank you. You're so welcome. She's saying that you did a good job, a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruna. So we are going to be mindful of the time and we're going to wrap up, but just know that Fernanda is representing Emmanuel College and they have a booth here today. So if you want and go talk to her specifically. She gave us like a brief, like a general information about resources and funding and scholarships for international students. But really, the most important part is for you to interact directly with the university representatives and ask your questions, because as Fernanda mentioned, every institution is different and they will have different opportunities and different things to offer you. But we want to thank you all for being here, and also just let you know that this presentation will be recorded and is being recorded, and it will be shared with you by email later on today. But if you do have questions and you're maybe being a little bit shy, please just make sure that you stop by Fernanda's booth, Emmanuel College, and ask her all the questions you want. Okay. For the counselors, once again, thank you for being here with us. And Fernanda, I'll see you in your booth soon.
Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you in my booth. I'm
Yes.
here in Boston soon.
Bye.
Bye.